It was meant to be an ordinary evening, a quiet dinner, an unnoticed corner table, and a simple steak that reminded him of a time before life turned into marble walls and golden ceilings. But as Aaron Vale sat alone in the dim corner of a small town restaurant, wearing a plain jacket instead of a designer suit, he didn't realize his entire life was about to shift, not because of the meal, but because of a handwritten note slipped across the table by a trembling young waitress. If you believe in kindness, humility, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to HO Chronicles, where true stories remind us what it still means to be human. Aaron Vale wasn't a man known for smiling. Once a determined college student from the rough parts of Chicago, he had built a global empire of luxury hotels. Yet behind the billions and the polished image lived a loneliness that wealth could never hide, the emptiness left after losing his wife, Evelyn, to cancer 3 years earlier. He still carried the guilt of not being there when she needed him most. Since her passing, nothing, not the awards, not the headlines, could fill the silence within him. So, every few months, he would disappear from his world. No entourage, no limos, no tailored suits, just himself, an old sedan, and a quiet search for the man he once was. That night, rain coated the streets of a little town called Maplewood. He stopped at a humble diner with a flickering neon sign that read, "The Iron Skillet." Inside, it smelled of butter, smoke, and nostalgia. The kind of place where laughter came easy, where regulars were greeted by name, and where steak arrived sizzling on iron pans, not silver trays. Aaron took a corner seat by the window, its glass fogged by the cold. A young waitress walked up. Her name tag read Mara. She couldn't have been more than 23, yet her tired eyes seemed much older. Her white shirt was neatly pressed, but her shoes looked worn to the edge. She smiled politely, though exhaustion lingered behind it. "What can I get you, sir?" she asked quietly. He ordered a ribeye, medium rare, and a glass of water. She nodded and hurried away. As she moved, Aaron noticed a slight limp in her step, a weary rhythm that didn't belong to someone so young. When she returned with his meal, he caught her glancing toward the kitchen every few seconds, as if someone back there made her nervous. At one point, she brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, stared at her phone, and turned pale. Aaron tried not to care. He had spent years shutting out the world's noise and pain, but something about her shaking hands and the way she avoided eye contact brought back a memory. His wife's trembling voice the night she told him she'd found a lump, and his empty promise to deal with it later. That guilt still haunted him. Halfway through his meal, Mara returned with the check, but hesitated. Her hand trembled as she slid a folded paper beneath the receipt. "Thank you," she whispered, almost breaking. Then she turned and disappeared into the kitchen. Aaron frowned, unfolding the note. In uneven handwriting, it read, "If you're not who I think you are, I'm sorry. But please, if you can help, my little brother needs surgery tomorrow. They'll cancel it because I can't pay the remaining bill. I've tried everything. I'll lose him. Please forgive me for asking." Meyer, he froze. The words blurred through his tears. It wasn't the request itself. It was the desperation behind it. He'd seen pleas like this before in emails, letters, charity requests, but never from someone who looked him in the eye while trying not to cry. Someone who didn't know he could buy the hospital itself if he wanted to. Aaron folded the note, heart pounding. Quietly, he paid the bill and left without a word. Outside, the rain had stopped. A soft fog wrapped around the streetlights as he stood, staring through the window at Mara cleaning tables, forcing a tired smile for the next customer. He could have sent an assistant or a donation, but something told him, this time, he needed to go himself. The next morning, staff at Maplewood General Hospital were stunned when a sleek black car pulled up. A man in a gray coat walked to the billing counter, handed a folder to the clerk, and said calmly, "Everything on Mara Lane's brother's account is cleared. All expenses, now and future, are covered." Before they could ask his name, he was gone. That afternoon, Mara rushed into the hospital after her shift, breathless and terrified, only to find her little brother smiling, his surgery a success. The nurse handed her an envelope left for her earlier. Inside was a note written on fine paper. "Mara, you reminded me what it means to see someone's pain and not look away. Thank you for the note. You helped me remember who I am." A friend. That night, back in his penthouse, Aaron stood by the window overlooking the glowing city skyline. For the first time in years, he felt something genuine, not guilt, not sorrow, but peace. Evelyn had once told him that true wealth wasn't measured by the empire he built, but by the hearts he touched. Now he finally understood. Weeks later, The iron skillet received an anonymous investment that doubled the staff's pay and repaired the old building. Mara never discovered who was behind it, but every time a man in a gray coat passed by the window, she smiled, as if she already knew. If this story touched your heart, and if you believe even the smallest act of kindness can change a life, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to HO Chronicles, where stories heal and hope lives on. Before you go, comment below. Kindness never hides, because sometimes even a billionaire needs a waitress's note to remember what truly matters.